Welcome aboard The Nichole Show with host Nichole Hamilton. Our task is to educate, empower, and change lives. Join us for stories of resilience and rebirth. Honest talks that inspire and challenge you. Are you ready to make a move? It begins now. Welcome back, guys, to The Nichole Show, where we open our hearts and minds, and our intention here is to share some knowledge so that you guys don't feel alone. In session today, I have beautiful Toni Sullivan, who is the emotion coach. And we've known each other a good couple of years now. I've been lucky enough to have you in some of my programs. But I'd love for you to introduce yourself to our listeners, Toni.
Thanks, Nick. Yeah, so I'm Toni Sullivan. As Nick said, I am the emotion coach. I have a business with my husband, which is called Creative Holistic Intentions. And basically exactly what the name says, it's about holistic creative therapies and the way that we work with people and setting our intentions for best outcomes for people.
I love that. And you know that holistic world is my jam. Like, I just light up when we start playing with energetics and languages and different therapies. What for you, like, why is it so important to have, you know, this in your life with you and your husband, but why holistic? Like, what does that mean for you? Especially for some of our listeners, they're like, holistic, what does that mean?
Yeah. So I have worked in the aged care and disability sector for like a really long time. So that kind of journey began 35 years ago when my brother was born with Down syndrome. And so engaging therapies as such was always about your OT, your speechy, your whatever. And then I had my own children, and one of my daughters has an intellectual disability and has ADHD. And again, it was so focused on those mainstream therapies. For me, as I've got older and I've seen the journey of my children and where it's taken them and other people's children, I've thought, what if we instilled different practices and different therapeutic things in their lives? Would it be a different outcome? So when I talk about therapies, I do talk about, you know, journaling's a therapy, meditation's a therapy, breathwork's a therapy. Yeah. That's the holistic component where we look at the whole body, not just our speech, not just the way that we walk or the way that we do things, our brain, how our brain is wired and how it can change by breathing differently, by, you know, getting everything out of our head by writing it down. So, yeah, that's what I think about when I think about holistic.
Yeah, I love that. And, you know, for me, I am definitely a feeling person, ADHD, very empathic. And I didn't know, you know, wind back in 2013, I had no idea about any of this stuff. None. You know, I grew up corporate, you find your person, you get married, you have your kids, and you get a job. Like, that was kind of my mindset, my belief system. Worked in federal government and I hadn't even heard of it, had not even heard of it. And when, for me, that medical system didn't work, like, holistic therapy is just what made me feel better. You know, and for me, I'm so goddamn thankful that and it was again by chance that I met a hypnotherapist. I had no idea what it was. The guy looked at me and I thought, and he was energetic, but I thought he was like, I felt the tingles. I looked into his eyes and I thought that he was doing, like, he obviously was, but my soul was calling that. And so for me, holistic practices are helping people come back to their body in whatever modality, whether it's breath or hypnotherapy or languages or inner child, or it's the unconscious work. It's where the body and the mind do start regulating together. And a lot of these practices can be found from, different cultures, different countries, but they come in, and a lot of the stuff, as I said, it's free. Like, it's not medicine based. It's not get another prescription, do this. Like a lot of this stuff, like even exercise can be a holistic practice. And so for me, sharing when I went through such heartache and such a journey, different holistic modalities across the board, just became my mission, it really did. And so I love the fact that, this is now such a big practice in Australia, and there's some beautiful, coaches and healers and different things out there. I'd love to know what your favorite or what your favorite go-to holistic practice for you is at the moment.
Yeah. So before I get into that, Nick, I just want to say one of the things I love the most about it is how it empowers people. So as you said, we're not giving someone a script and saying, come back in 6 months. We're actually empowering people to utilize the tools that they already have inside them. We're just showing them the way. And that's what I love about it. They don't have to come back again. They don't, whatever. That's totally cool. And that empowerment's the key thing for me. Okay, your question was...
What's your favorite one that you're using at the moment? So
for me, journaling and meditation are the go-to every morning. I am a completely different person in my day if I don't have at least 15 to 20 minutes to be able to just write down what's in my head, my feelings, my intentions for the day. So I always write my intentions for the day. And it literally might be to get my bookwork done, but it might also be to breathe, to be energetic, to choose love, those kinds of things. So
little tingles, I love that. And these are some simple things that people can just do. Like a lot of these holistic practices are pretty well free. Like you said, they come maybe once, or they grab a YouTube, or they listen to something like this. And these are things that you can be doing. And a lot of the holistic community stuff is literal things that are in our own environment that practices we can do ourselves.
Yeah. So, and for me, my journey, my personal journey, I've suffered from depression majority of my adult life, probably throughout my younger years as well. I know I'm in a good place when I can take the time to sit and journal and breathe and meditate and take that time. That's when I know I'm in a good place. And when I'm not, when I stop doing those things, I need to actually say to myself, hey, tomorrow morning you're getting up early, you're going to do this stuff. It's going to make you feel better. And as soon as I do it, I'm just like it's crazy how different I am. Yeah.
I love that. And for those, again, listening at home, like how, do you have any tips or tricks to the starting of that? Because I know myself, like my rituals changed, because I'm ADHD and I like to change them up. My paramount one is exercise. But if I skip one, which is meditation probably, things do slide. Like, so, again, I do the same thing. I'm like, you're not pressing snooze, you're getting up, you're doing those things. But how do you, say that enough's enough, or you are doing that? Like how, like what can be some of the reminders or helpful hints?
I literally have this sitting by my bed every morning. Like, so when I get up, it's the first thing I grab. And my notebook was a beautiful notebook. Last year, I had some stuff going on, and my one of my best friends in the world actually sent it to me just before. And so after our hospital admission with depression, it was the first thing I grabbed and thought, I need to start doing this again because this is my happy place. And so there's the scribblings of a mad woman in here, just some mornings getting up and just like writing, like literally just writing words all over a page to get stuff out of my head. But having it next to your bed. So it's the first thing you reach for, not your phone. I'm going
to do that because journaling is one thing. I get into little habits of it, but I'm probably a voice noter, but it's not the same. They say, they say when you write things down and, these are things that could come to fruition or just like getting it out, but they're 60% more likely to come true. Like actually 60% more likely to come true if you write it down. It doesn't have the same effect texting it in your phone or whatever else, but physically writing it. And I've gone back to, you know, if we look at our, you know, like notes in my computer and stuff like that when I've had an idea, or if I go back into vision boards or whatever else, it does happen. Like it's really, it's really, really beautiful. And
I find that I'll write notes on my computer often, and exactly what you said, I forget that they're there. Like, you know,
you find them and you're like, oh my God, I had that idea 3 years ago and I'm doing it now. Like I'm actually doing the thing. Like how cool is that?
Yeah. Whereas, you know, something like this, and I've got a mini one that I have in my bag as well, that I just carry around with me everywhere. So if I do have an idea or something,
Perfect.
I just pull that out.
I've got multiple. So I've got these beautiful ones. So some of them have come with me, like my big, beautiful ones, and they've got such good photos. And then some of them have come with me on my plant medicine journey. So anybody, I shouldn't really do a whole podcast on that. But yeah, there's some beautiful. So I've got some really big ones, but I'm going to put one by the bed now. You've inspired me. Now, I've had a lot of people in my life, for this year, even like the conversations that I've had, and a lot of people in my life going through really deep, dark depressions. It's up to you how much you want to share, if you've got any tips or tricks about it. But I really think it'd be helpful because there's so many people in my life, and also on this, the youth. Like we have the biggest youth depression, suicide, self-harm rate at the moment. And so for me, it's why I'm the kids coach, is like if we bring these holistic practices to our children, perhaps they won't, or they'll be able to ask for help easier when we get to, you know, in our 30s, 40s, 50s, we all suffer from it. We've all suffered from depression. Me too. I haven't got out of bed for weeks. I've done these different things where I've just not been able to put any of my practices in place. So anything that you'd like to share on depression or tips and tricks or anything like that, I'd really like to open the space for you, Toni, because I know your story is very powerful. So it's up to you what you want to.
Yeah, thanks, Nick. And I know that you always hold a safe space. So I guess, as I said, I've had depression, episodes of depression throughout my whole life. And some of it probably stems back to my son passed away when he was 7 months old, 26 years ago. And losing a child, as people can imagine, is huge. So some of my tips and tricks actually began way back then. And I didn't realize that that's what I was doing, but that's just naturally what came to me. So the writing, it must have been 3 years after Jacob's passing. I'd been out at the cemetery and kind of sat out there and had a bit of a chat. And I came back home and I just had so much going on in my head. And literally the night before his anniversary, I would relive, you know, his last couple of days on earth, which were really traumatic. Like really traumatic. We were in the children's hospital. He had to have all these surgeries. It was, and I would relive that whole thing in my head. And I have a bit of a photographic memory. So like literally the pictures are coming to me. And I thought, I need to write some of this down. I just need to write it down. And I sat and just wrote his story. And I wrote, you know, the medications that he had, you know, how much he had in medications, how often I had to give it to him, how I had to give it to him, how many trips we had to Melbourne, you know, his surgeries, what that looked like, the recovery times, my feelings and emotions during that time, the impact it had on my relationship with my partner at that time. I wrote it all down. I just wrote this story. I spent a whole day just writing. And after that, I found that I didn't need to remember those things to hold on to him. So it was like my head was telling me, you can't forget that part. You can't forget, you know, the 100 micrograms of whatever that you gave him when he was having that lot of chemo. You can't forget that or you'll lose him. It was like my brain was telling me that.
It's the PTSD part of it, right?
Yeah.
Oh my God, I'm just getting tingles, and I will just segue for a sec. This is beautiful and powerful, and my heart does break for you. So thank you for sharing this in this depth. But I've also worked with quite a few mothers that have, lost children. I'd love you to publish this or have it somewhere. It'd be so powerful because, I've never even thought about that for other mothers, or this could be another part of your programs. But it's so powerful because no other person can support you through what you've been through except another person who's been there.
Yeah.
And so thank you for even just sharing it here. But, I'll be sharing this with a few other people as well. So, continue, my sweetheart. And then...
Yeah. Thank you. And Nick, and it's funny you say that because even though I've experienced what I've experienced, I will never have the same experience as someone else. And that's a thing that I think that people forget or are not aware of maybe more. So the day that my son passed away, we had spent the day, and I had to, do a huge shout out to the Royal Children's Hospital in Melbourne. The way that they do end of life is amazing. It's just the most beautiful experience. So we got to spend our time with Jacob, have beautiful photos taken with him, really, spend as much time as we wanted. And then we got to choose when we left him. And when we got back to our accommodation, my partner's auntie called, and I just picked up the phone naturally, not thinking anything of it. And she started asking all of these questions and whatnot. And I was like, oh, I don't know what we're doing. I don't know where we're going from here. We'll probably go back to Ballarat tonight or something like that. And she said something along the lines of, well, I've lost a child. And so I know how you're feeling right now, and you can't hide from life. You have to get back to real life or something like that. And this is literally 10 minutes or 15 minutes after I left my child. And I just went, get fucked, and hung up the phone. And her son, when he passed away, was 27. He died on in a farm accident, and he had a life. He had all of these things, and that always stayed with me. When I'm talking to people that have lost people, thinking, yeah, I've lost someone, but my journey is very, very different to you, even to mums that have had miscarriages. And they say, but your experience was far worse than mine. And I said, I don't know whether that's the case, because I got to have my Jacob for the period of time that he brought me so much joy and so many life lessons. Like, I wouldn't be the person I am today without him. You didn't get to see your little person. So we really need to be mindful of that. I think that's
100%. I don't know why, but I always find that I'm very drawn to holding space for people with grief. And I always say, I don't know if I'm saying the right thing. If I say the wrong thing, don't please let me know. But just being there, because and bless your auntie or whoever it was, heart, she was doing the best she could with the skill set that she had. She was trying to do the right thing, but said exactly the wrong things at the wrong time.
Yeah. And it's a life lesson for me, Nick.
Yeah, but it's like, I would never do that for another person again. I will never speak to somebody like that again. I'll always hold space. And I think that's the thing. Like, I always just want to be there for somebody, because I feel like some people, and perhaps that was her intention, who knows, but a lot of people shy away from grief because it's so fucking terrifying, and shy away from depression and all these like harder things because it is harder to hold space, or we're not taught how to. And the worst thing as well is like, I'm so sorry for your loss. Well, I always say, my heart is breaking for you, or I'm feeling for you and I'm sending you love, or something along those lines. But yeah, you're right. Everybody's journey is so different. And thank you for, reframing that for people, because just being there for somebody, continually to check in on them, asking them perhaps what they need. And when they say they don't know, it's like, it's okay if you don't know, but I'm going to check in on you again tomorrow in case you do know, like those types of things. If you don't reply, that's okay. If you don't reply for 5 days, I might just come knock, like, all those types of things. But yeah, I think that holding that space and having the capacity to have those conversations is so needed,
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So that was my sidetrack, because
Definitely. I think it's really, really powerful. Thank you. Hey everyone, Nichole here, and I hope you're enjoying today's episode. I just want to take a quick moment to talk to you all. If you're finding value in our conversations and loving the raw, honest dialogues we're having here, I've got a small favor to ask. This podcast is a passion project for me, and there's nothing I love more than bringing these stories and insights to you. So if you haven't already, would you consider subscribing to our show and leaving a review? It's completely free and it doesn't take much time, but it really helps us in two big ways. It's getting the podcast in front of more listeners, which keeps our community growing. It helps us attract more amazing guests, which means we give you more value in the episodes we bring to you. Just hit that subscribe button, drop us a review, and let's keep these conversations flowing. Now let's dive right back into our episode, and thanks so much for being a part of the Nichole's show.
Depression has been a big part of my life for a really long time. Maybe I'll talk about the last episode for me.
I'd love it.
Yeah, that's probably where I feel like I want to talk about. So last year 2 years ago, I started on this journey with you. Nearly 3 years ago, actually. That's
so,
crazy,
yeah.
isn't it? Oh.
Oh.
And it really changed the way that I felt about the world, and what you said earlier about what we can do for our kids, especially in the mental health space. There was stuff going on with my kids, and it just kept coming to me, you know, what if we had instilled some different practices at an early age? What if I could be a part of that for other people?
Yeah.
And that's what really drew me to the kids coaching and kids yoga, which is also what I do. And so that was the beginning of my journey. And at the time, I was a manager at a not-for-profit organisation, had been for a number of years. You know, loved my job. There was nothing wrong with my job. It probably didn't challenge me as much as I wanted it to. Didn't bring great joy anymore. I didn't get to see the people on a daily basis and have that impact in their life, which really brought me joy and fulfilled me. So when I come onto this, I was kind of like, yeah, this is my place in the world. Like, it really is. And it reminded me of who I was, which I feel like I'd forgotten for a really long time. And so when I, at the end of last financial year, in June last year, I decided that I was going to finish up. And I'd given my workplace, you know, a lot of notice because they had to fill my shoes and also restructure and do some other bits and pieces. So it was like a really long, drawn-out process. And in that time, my ADHD definitely shone, and a indoor play centre and cafe come up on Facebook for sale, and I literally sent it to my husband and said, I'm going to buy this. And he wrote back, lol. And I wrote, no, I'm serious. I've asked them for all the financials. And within 2 weeks, I purchased that. So that happened in March last year. So we jumped into a business, and then I come to the end of my working life at the not-for-profit organisation that I'd been at for 10 years. So I had a bit of a crisis of identity, and I kind of didn't know where I fit in the world anymore, because for such a long time, I would say I'm the proud manager of, this place. This is what I do. This is what it looks like. And I could articulate that. And then all of a sudden it's like, I don't know what I am. I actually don't know who I am without that, that title, that really specific job description as such, or a list of tasks to do every day, because I didn't have that. I literally got up and I got to do whatever I wanted to do any day. And, I could work at the treehouse, or I could be doing kids yoga, or I could be doing, a session with one of the little people that I support. So I didn't know where I was in the world. And so I started to question me as a person. And it was a dark place because it started to bring up probably lots of questions that I've had about myself for a really long time.
Yeah.
You know, am I good enough? Am I worthy enough? You know, I've been told lots of times I'm not. I've been told lots of times I'm not good enough. I don't get love from some of the people that I really want, you know, that unconditional love from. So maybe there's a reason for that. Maybe there's actually, you know, a reason why I didn't want to stay any longer in that role. Maybe it wasn't the right place for me because maybe I wasn't doing a good job. All of those things were going through my head.
Yeah.
And I was using alcohol as a crutch at that time. And it's definitely been my go-to my whole life. And I question whether I'm an alcoholic or whether it's an environmental, you know, factors that are causing me to drink more, you know, all of those things. That's something I still will be working on forever and a day. And that's amazing that, you know, I get to keep working on stuff.
Amazing that you have the honesty and vulnerability to share that too, because a lot of people are, and you know, as soon as we say it out loud, it means that the universe and unconscious is listening. So
Yeah, no, like to be able to say my relationship with alcohol was not healthy. And so I was just in a really confused, emotional, crazy state where I just didn't know what I wanted to do. And that lack of what I felt like was purpose, I felt like I had no purpose in the world. And when we have no purpose,
yeah,
we have no worth.
mm.
We have, and I just got to the point, and for me, I withdraw. So I withdraw when I start getting like that. I start not messaging people.
Yep.
I go quiet.
All the things. Yeah.
Yeah.
Leave your house? Did you not leave your house for a bit as well?
I wanted to be in my house. I didn't have the opportunity to necessarily be here all of the time, purely because we were running a business as well, and it was us trying to get that up and running. But as soon as I didn't have to be there, I'd be here.
Yeah.
I would make excuses not to go and do stuff. And I've always been community minded. So I'm on committees, I do volunteering, I do all of this stuff. All of that went by the way. I wasn't doing those things. I was making excuses not to, you know, go out for dinner with people. Rather than going out and having a couple of drinks with my friends, I'd sit at home and drink, you know, sadly at home by myself in the afternoon kind of thing. So, I got to, and some stuff happened, you know, around my old workplace as well, where some, you know, gossip and stuff was said. And because I was in such a crappy place, it really hurt. Like it really, really hurt. Like it felt like they were questioning me and my ethics and morals as a person. And Nikki, you know me, I'm fairly genuine and upfront and honest, and you get what you get and you don't get upset. So that really, like that kicked me in the guts big time because I thought,
but at that time, the lens that you were looking through was of no self-worth and I'm not good enough. And of course, then question your integrity, basically, which is another, you know, part of your identity, which you do hold yourself very accountable to. Like you built careers on this. So I get it. So it would have snowballed the spiral.
Completely. And I remember, so it was coming up to Jacob's anniversary. Oh, wow. And so I had all of that happen last year. My pop passed away, who was one of my greatest mates. It was just his anniversary 2 days ago, actually. Remembered him fondly. So he was one of my greatest mates to be able to go and have a chat to about stuff. My daughter, my youngest daughter, had moved away from home. So, you know, like all, as you said, snowballed. Everything was happening for me. And I remember the day before Jacob's anniversary, and I just wanted to be at home. I didn't want to engage with anyone. I didn't want, you know, and I had to go to work and I had to do some stuff. And I come home and I just drank. And I know that I had a conversation with one of my ex-colleagues who I'm still friends with. I'm fairly confident I'm running the HR manager of the organisation that worked with and said something. I have no clue what I said to them. I just drank and drank. And then my husband come home and I was asleep in like passed out in bed, and he tried to wake me, and he was really upset that I got to that state, obviously, and that I'd been hiding that I was drinking too, because that had been an issue previously. And so he just left me to sleep. And when I did wake up and I obviously was still inebriated, I went out and just started yelling and screaming and saying, I don't want to be here anymore and whatnot. And I was, saying, oh, yeah, I don't want to be on this earth anymore. I'm done kind of thing. And he was trying to calm me down and he couldn't calm me down. We live on a major highway, so I literally walked out and was trying to jump in front of cars and vehicle and trucks and stuff like that. And he was trying to calm me down. I'm like, no, I just don't want to do this anymore. So he called my best friend and got her to come around. And so she calmed me down and said, how about we just, go to the hospital and go have a chat. And I was, okay, yeah, cool, that's fine. I just don't want to be here anymore. Wow. And so went and did an intake at the hospital and they popped me into the psych ward, which I wanted to go into. At that point in time when I was inebriated and in that moment, I knew that I needed something.
You were at breaking point.
Yeah, and so I went in there. I spent 5 days in the psych ward, which was amazing.
Amazing, especially the healthcare system at this moment. So well done. Well done at that hospital.
Yeah, they were just amazing, and it's so funny, isn't it, that stigma attached to those kind of psych wards and mental health facilities and whatnot.
It's just I hear so mixed stories, guys. Like it's not that I'm not putting the system down. The system itself is broken, not the practitioners. But I've heard of people being refused entry when they're at that point, or they're at capacity, or because you're not, whatever else, or a 24-hour hold and out you get, and, an 8-month waiting list for psychiatric counseling or anything. So I'm really glad and proud that you got some beautiful help there in that week.
Yeah. And so they changed my medication, which I'd been on for a while. They upped that, and we talked lots about the alcohol, and so I went on some naltrexone to help me kind of stop the cravings for that, which was really amazing. And I was still engaged with a psychiatrist at that time for a little bit, but they also engaged me with like the community mental health team and whatnot. So I come out of hospital on medication and engaged with services, which, as you say, that's really difficult even in itself. So
it's huge to even be able to have a conversation. To then, like, I assume, and I could be wrong, but let me know, but there's a spiral of then guilt of afterwards and remorse, and again that spiral of like, I'm not good enough, I can't believe I did that, blah, 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 I'm not deserving, and all those other things then pile up even when the help is available. And it's so there's a like, there's that all of those extra emotions on top of that. Like I feel shame like even, and
7 days I kind of hid out. Like I literally, we've got a couple of rooms at the tree house, but one's like our craft room where we have all of our craft bits and pieces and games and whatnot. And my husband made me a bed, set up a projector on the screen, and I literally was there all day, every day, just watching Friends, drinking cups of tea for 7 days because I didn't want to see people. I was so embarrassed. I was so embarrassed that I'd done that I put that shame on people that, and then, there's the alcoholism as well. Like all of that stuff that you said, like was all happening for me. And there was one day that I think we had a party or something going on. And so 2 of our team members had to come into that room to get some stuff organised. And I said to Dallas, just don't let them talk to me. Tell them not to talk to me. I don't want to talk to anyone. And they came in and they didn't look at me. They didn't engage with me. And I was like, oh, maybe they're judging me. Maybe they're like, so I had put that on myself. Like I'd actually like set that up for myself. And so then I just went, hi. And they're like, oh, hey, we've missed you. We love you. We're here. That's all they said. And the next day, my best friend who'd been there with me that night, she literally come to the tree house and just come and sat next to me. She said, you don't have to talk. You don't have to do anything. I just love you. And I'm just here.
Yeah.
And we just sat. We didn't talk. We didn't do anything. She just held my hand, actually. And that's all I needed. I just needed those people to just tell me they love me.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
let those little tears out. Thank you so much. This is a beautiful reminder for me and some of those people that's what it is, like in those moments of massive despair and whatever the rupture or challenge that anybody listening is going through is just love, like coming back to connection with love. Like when people have these attempts or behaviors or whatever it is, like in any human being's darkness, in their darkest moments, that's when they need the love the most. And it's hard, like it's so hard for anybody that's experiencing that, somebody that is perhaps suicidal, or perhaps making poor choices or self-sabotaging, or drugs or alcohol or whatever, even violence, like those things, like the most part that human, and I know that we all allow to have our boundaries, but that human is just desperately wanting unconditional love.
Yeah, absolutely. And
I'm so glad you're here still, Toni.
I am too, Nick.
I'm so glad.
I am so glad. And so I continued getting some support through the community mental health team. The funniest part was, though, I literally had booked in for our retreat in September, which was only a month after what had happened. And I was really, even on the day that I was on my way over, I was messaging you and the other Nick, and I was like, I don't know if I can do this, like being around other people and all the rest of it. And it was just the best thing that ever happened for me, because it allowed me that time to, one, on the way over there, I listened to Gabby Bernstein's The Universe Has Got Your Back. And guys, if you haven't.
Gabby Bernstein's amazing. She absolutely is. Like her books, her audio books, and obviously her writing, she's been through it all too. She's a phenomenal coach.
Absolutely. So it gave me that time, which I can't remember a time where I've had hours to sit and listen or read a book. Like I can't remember for years that. But being with people who didn't know me, who saw me for absolutely who I was, who were like-minded, beautiful souls, just reminded me of how amazing I am and how very much worthy I am and how I am meant to be on this planet. And there's a reason for that. And the reason that I'm meant to be here is to help others and to share my journey with others so that they can understand that there is a light at the end of the tunnel.
I love that.
And
so when are you running your retreats then?
I love that. It's definitely something that I've been working on, Nick.
Yeah.
But when I got back and went in to see my mental health practitioner, and she's like, I think we've kind of come to the end of what we need to do. And I said, okay. And I said, oh, so like, are you going to refer me to someone? She said, I don't think you need anyone, Toni. She said, you're doing your journal work, you're meditating, you do yoga, you go for walks, you've got coaches. Mm-hmm. What you're doing is the best mental health, practice that you could have. And I don't think that we need to do anything from our perspective anymore for you, because you've got it all. You're doing it all. And it was like, yeah, I've got all of this inside me. So it was that beautiful reminder that I can do, I've got all of those things. It's shit that, it takes an
trauma.
episode.
Yeah, it does. Like, of course.
But you've got everything inside you. It's just, having that next to your bed, not
going for a walk when you don't want to. Like, even so for me, and I'm not comparing, so please don't think when I share my stories I'm comparing, because I thank you for that beautiful, powerful journey. But when I've had my minutes of like fully regressing and like like, how you said, like laying in bed watching Friends, I do that. I haven't done it for a really long time, but in the old home and, many moons ago, like Abby would like have to get me out the house, and I'd be like, and it would give me such anxiety to leave the house. Like I would be the same. I wouldn't talk to people. I wouldn't have my phone. I'd turn my phone off, and I would just have to watch something to keep my brain busy, to focus on. So I'm Sex and the City and the Gilmore Girls and whatever it is for me.
All those go-tos.
Yeah, those all good go-to, feel good go-tos, easy to watch, digest. Like I would like just getting out, like just doing a couple of steps, even if it's around the block, or jumping in the car with her to go somewhere. Like when we're literally stuck, like in that laying in the bed, the best thing you can do is move your body. Yeah. And it's so fucking hard. It's so hard. Like even if you just need a friend to hold your hand and walk around the block. But, I don't know where the actual statistics are, but I've read it multiple times. Back in the 60s and 70s, they never prescribed antidepressants. And there was a study, and I don't know what country it's from, but they would literally prescribe you, maybe it was Japan, I don't know. They would prescribe you 6 weeks off work. And for that time, you had to exercise. For the first couple of weeks, you had to exercise like 6 or 7 hours a day. Like, didn't matter what you're doing, not strenuous, like let's go to the gym and build weights, but you had to be moving your body for that amount of time. And I could have the stats wrong, guys. It's ADHD. They might not be quite right, but by moving your body. And then as you progress through the weeks, then it might be 4 hours a day and 3 hours a day. And then you could be down to 1 hour a day. But by that time, the neuroplasticity and the depression chemical and whatever they are no longer exist, because you've built up such a stamina of the dopamine of moving your body. And when we are stuck, and so these are things that, don't cost money. I know it's super hard, but you can get on an app and you can text somebody and say, I'm looking for a walking buddy, and, all of that. But it makes such a powerful, powerful impact of getting out of that stuckness. And so for me, it 100%, like remembering moving the body is so powerful. I'm super proud of you for coming to those retreats and speaking your truth. Like that was what I think a powerful moment for everybody involved. And also knowing that whatever you guys are listening, like going through as well, you're so worthy of having a story and somebody listening to it. Yeah. As soon as you say it out loud, like, and I'm sure it was a powerful moment for you, but as soon as you share your journey and take the shame, like take your personal power back, whether it's been domestic violence, drug addiction, depression, suicide attempts, whatever that fucking is, whatever you've done or been through or had done to you, as soon as you actually have the power to say it out loud to somebody, it starts healing. Like the whole euphoric relief of like, oh my God, like, okay. And God is listening as soon as you say it out loud, whether you believe in God or the universe. So I'm super glad that we have this platform and that this gets to be shared, because there's been a lot of this type of scenarios going in my background. And so I think this is going to be super powerful. And I really, really appreciate you sharing this. And I think there's a definite powerfulness for you writing this or creating a program around it, babes. So well done for putting those practices together, even an ebook or something, I don't know, but I can definitely see this is very, very powerful. So did you write it down, say you're going to write a book or like it came to me straight up. Like also, not only, like, I think you've got many chapters. Like, I'd love to, if you could even send me the thing you wrote about Jacob, but It's so powerful. Like there's multiple chapters in your journey. Bestseller like Gabby Bernstein, who knows? 100%. I love you. I love that. I love that. And I just want to share this as well. I did that in a session the other day. Like this person, this person, it just came through to me. It's not something that I normally do, but I just sat there and I repeated to them that I love them, that I'm a safe woman, I'm a safe human, that I can hold space for them, and I love them. And I mean that. Like I believe one of my superpowers is unconditional love. And we have a scale of what's, but some humans have never had that. And I literally just kept it on repeat until that person let it in. And I think that's a big thing. So if you are not hearing it enough today, you are loved. Like you are so loved, whoever you are, wherever this is landing, not only by me and Toni, but by other souls around the world. If you haven't called in your people that, they're still out there. And also remember that your soul loves yourself. Like we came through this to be on this earth and to live our journey, and you absolutely have love in your heart to be able to get through anything as well. Wow. Very powerful, my friend. Very, very powerful. I I feel complete. I feel complete. Uh I will put a disclaimer at the beginning of this as well, and I also will pop all the bits and pieces down. Toni and I will do a bit of a collab in regard to like Lifeline and a few other numbers. So please have a look at the links below, and please, reach out. You can DM either one of us. We'll put up both of our socials on there as well. I think that you might get a few sessions out of this because I really see this being a powerful part of your story and a platform for you, Toni. And it's an honor. Like it's an absolute honor to be a part of your universe and see you grow and thrive. And you've always had this beautiful, I'm so glad that you've worked out who you are again. But for me, the energy that you bring, the way that you speak, the love that you have, the wealth of warrior knowledge, the things that you've been through definitely come through. So wishing you all the success, and thank you for listening to us, guys.